Thanks to the continued support from you guys throughout this channel's existence, I've been able to obtain Steam codes from various titles across a wide spectrum of genres. Some have been entertaining, while others were just disappointments. I also end up with games that unfortunately I don't have much to say about them to warrant a full review. However, I decided to tackle as many as I can here. Whether or not this will be a recurring segment for the channel is up for debate. But as always, I'm willing to take new risks and see how it goes. And just to reiterate, I did receive a free code from the publishers of these titles. However, I will still give a fair and honest review. Sounds good? Let's continue. Got this game a while back when it was still in early access and was very close to recommending it. However, I had to keep rewriting my review with the constant updates it was getting. Now that it has been released, this is a soft pass. Taking place during the fall of Rome, similar to Attila, sounds awesome, as well as the Total War style of gameplay, picking a faction and capturing territory. However, the execution falls flat in many ways. The combat was originally interesting, being card-based instead of real-time based, but it ultimately came down to who has more units than the other, which the AI would somehow always match. The biggest issue to me is the UI, which is just ugly and confusing, trying to upgrade your buildings as well as your territory. It came out of early access way too early and needed more time. Unfortunately, the developers have long since moved on. 3 words define this game: random number generator. The premise of this title is to expand your territory and gain 100 pieces of land. To do this, you'll need to generate Hexia, which comes from upgrading your territory, which costs population. Having a negative amount of Hexia will decrease your population, and when your population reaches 0, the game is over. The gameplay is just very bare bones and not much to really say. You will occasionally get a random event where you can choose the outcome, which usually the wrong choice can be incredibly fatal and put you far below in negative Hexia. It's just not fun and deserves a pass, even in early access. Out of all the games here, this one probably offers the most to talk about. The game takes place in 200 AD and has you on the Silk Road. You get 4 characters to choose from with various backgrounds, but can all end up doing the same thing. While the open world is reportedly bigger than Daggerfall's, traversing it is a hassle as it moves in a grid and the gameplay is deceptively shallow. The main and only real efficient way to gain money is from trading, which if you're into that, that's fine. There is also combat, but raising an army is costly and requires a ton of food to maintain. The character artwork is fine, but good lord, the environments look horrendous. It's a legit eyesore. It also suffers in lack of background music when traversing the world and how uninteresting it all feels. However, the open world does offer interesting history audio logs to listen to. I can definitely feel the passion from this one, but unfortunately there isn't much pursuing me to press onwards, which is the whole theme of this game. I would have loved to have gone all the way from Rome to China, but the visuals are so horrible that I probably wouldn't like what I see. Roguelikes and roguelites are becoming all too common in this day and age, as well as titles with the word rogue in it. Developed by 2 brothers, you play as a summoner who can summon the monsters you defeat as you traverse the world in a procedurally generated dungeon. While it does have much of the same design philosophy as many roguelikes, the unique mechanic does allow it to carry some weight. Outside of the graphics, the issue I have is with how every encounter feels like a puzzle rather than a strategy game. Once you place your units, there's very little you can do to alter things. While things do open up in later levels, you are very limited by the monsters that appear, which isn't very many unfortunately. The game also just lacks staying power for me, as the concept wore out its welcome before beating the rest of the dungeons. I can probably see this as a game you play if you have a few minutes to kill, but nothing substantial. You can pass on this one. This game is ultimately a demo for the full game known as Black Skylands. I wasn't sure what exactly to expect from a gameplay perspective, but I saw the pixel art as well as the world established and decided to give it a go. At first, I thought this game was going to be a mix of various genres, but eventually just ended up being a linear shooter. Unfortunately, many of the guns lack firepower and the demo doesn't provide a nice variety of weapons. The movement is also on the slower side, which felt jarring when trying to navigate in a gunfight. What really killed this game, however, was the airship. I don't know what it is with indie developers and airships, but the controls are always weird for these things. The reviews on Steam are highly positive, but for me, I just didn't get it. Maybe I'm just getting too old and I'm out of touch? Who knows? It ultimately is just a free demo and hopefully the developers can take the feedback for the full title. Card games have definitely risen in popularity thanks to the success of Hearthstone. While this isn't a free-to-play game, it's a card battling game with its own twist to the formula. You pick a dragon and raise it during battle. Your goal is to ultimately defeat your enemy with the cards given to you. Can be a little confusing at first, but enjoyable once you get the hang of it. Unfortunately, games like this thrive on a multiplayer community, as PvP tends to be the strength of these games, which is definitely lacking in this title. While you can fight the computer with different decks and cards as you upgrade your layer, there's only so much that can be done. Overall, I can at least cautiously recommend this title, or at least give the demo a try to see if it's something you would like. So there you have it, a group of games I decided to take care of all in one shot. Let me know if you guys like this style and would like to see something similar to this in the future. If you guys have played any of these games, let me know in the comments below. As always, thank you for watching, and this is Powerhouse, signing off.